Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. So for today's video, I'm starting off with a bare face. I thought I would do like a talk through, kind of like showing you the steps that I do to do my makeup every day. I also kind of don't know what kind of look I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna wing it. So let's get started. So I'm just filling in my brows, nothing too crazy. And also I like to do my eyebrows and my eyes before I put on foundation in case I mess up or I don't like how my shadow turned out. I can just wipe it and go. I feel like if you do your foundation first, that you kind of like, to me, I feel like there's no room for error, but I'm also a perfectionist, so, like I have to, my makeup, I'm like, oh my god, this is not the way I want it. I like get kind of like, not mad, but like I'm like, oh, like I notice it, and so then I feel like other people notice it, and it's just not a good time. But yeah, I definitely have to do my eyebrows and my eyes before my foundation. I don't know why. I've always been like that. The next thing I put on my brows just to make them look not so drawn on, if you will, is the Maybelline Brow Precise, and it has fibers in it, so it kind of brings your natural hair out more. So, and I really like to use that. So I used to use like the MAC Paint Pot primer for my eyelids, but I just have been switching back and forth from that MAC Paint Pot to a concealer for my primer, so I kind of like primer a little bit better. I think because it's a little more creamier and all that jazz. So I'm going to be using the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. And I wipe off all the excess off as I can, and I just kind of put that on there. And I usually do one eye at a time so that I can really blend it out and make sure everything looks good. So I'm just going to use a damp beauty blender. And then if I feel like I need more concealer, I'll go in. Like I kind of feel like I need a little bit more. And I'm going to set that real quick before it creases on me. I got this Kylie Cosmetics Pressed Perfecting Powder, and You're Perfect is what it's called. And I kind of like it. I've been using it for a while now, and I really like it. And I just did one dab into the powder and set it. Okay, so I have about like 3 palettes out right now, and I might use all 3 of them, but if I do, it's like for specific colors that I just want to use that maybe one palette doesn't have. I usually try to use one palette for one whole look, that way you're not going in between all these things. But the first palette that I'm gonna look and see if I want to use first is the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. I haven't really got to play with it, but I mean the colors look amazing, so, and I'm probably a little bit late because this has been out for a while, but I think I'm gonna use some shades in here as a transition and then build up. So I'm just gonna take like a blending brush and get started there. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a Morphe E22 brush, and I'm gonna take the shade Sugarcane in here, and it just kind of looks and that is just going to be a transition shade. I cannot talk today. So I'm just going to pop that into my crease very lightly. And you want to make sure when you are blending your shadows that you're using light pressure. You're not like going in on it. You just want to use light pressure. And I like to, some people don't like to come all the way to the inner corner. I do. I always do. For some reason, I don't know why I've always done that since I started makeup. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I'm gonna go into the shade next to it called Cake Mix. Oh, trying to show you guys. This one right here. Cake Mix. Just to add a little bit more warmth, because this is looking a little pinky on me. So I'm going to use this pink shade from the James Charles palette. It's called Skip. So right here, wherever my fingers are, right there. And I'm gonna just slowly build that color up, and then I think I might go back into the Jeffree Star palette to like more intensify it. So I'm going to take the Morphe R37 brush and just lightly tap my sorry guys, my brush in there. So like I said, I'm gonna go in, lightly dab my brush in there, like maybe twice, and then that's how much product I have. And taking the excess off, which there wasn't much, so, and then just kind of, and again, light pressure. So you might be sitting here blending forever, but it's always good to start with less, what's the word? Less shadow and build up than having a whole bunch of shadow that you cannot blend through. So. So again, you're probably gonna feel like, oh my God, I'm just sitting here building up, blending and blending, and I'm like still nowhere. It's okay, like I said, you wanna build up to be intense, and then instead of just being intense and then you're like, oh crap, that was too intense. But it's okay, trust the process. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here and then do this eye because I feel like now is a perfect time to add some of the Jeffree Star color in here, but before I do that, I want to make sure I have this side done. Also, a good tip while I'm sitting here blending, a good tip when you're blending is to kind of hold your brush like far back like that, because your brush is kind of loose and you're just blending right now, so you're not like up here like really into your eye. You're just back here and you're kind of loose. You're just, you know, you're not putting as much pressure on your eye. So that way, it also, your eyeshadow, I cannot talk right now or think, isn't like skipping on you, which can happen too if you go a little bit too hard. So, okay, so I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna go back into the Jeffree Star palette. And I'm gonna go in with, I think I'm gonna go in with Cavity, which is this one right here. And I'm probably gonna get a little bit smaller brush than this one that I have. Okay, so the brush I'm using is actually from Kylie. I think I got it from one of her previous palettes that I have. And I'm just, it's basically you just kind of want to brush like this. You know, nothing too rounded or fluffy. I mean, this is kind of fluffy, but not like, oh, like nothing like this, like that. So I'm gonna use the shade Cavity and go in more into my crease and take that X out. This one is really pigmented, so I'm just gonna pop it into the crease like such. And honestly, because I want a little more dimension in my eye, I'm gonna add in root canal, which is this pretty purple here. So I'm gonna add that in there. So I'm just gonna mix cavity and root canal together. And then I'm gonna go back in with the brush that we used, and this little blending brush, and I'm just gonna kind of blend it together. So I'm gonna open up that James Charles palette again, and so that way I can kind of layer my pinks and purples together. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the fluffy blending brush again and just do like 2 little dabs into the James Charles and just kind of follow that. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in with the Jeffree Star one and with my cavity and root canal. So while I have the James Charles palette out, I know I want to use some yellow because lately I've been kind of feeling the yellow vibe. And so this shade that I'm going to use to kind of like diffuse out the pink up here up top is called B, and I'll show you guys in a minute. I just need to get a brush before I start doing crazy things. Okay. So this shade isn't from the James Charles palette. It is called B. And I'm going to use that shade right here. Okay. So I did about like 3 little dabs. I'm using the Morphe R41, and I'm just going to kind of diffuse out this situation here. Okay, so that is this eye so far. I'm gonna go ahead and do this next one. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut my crease. I'm gonna start off with, I'll just show you when I get to it. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to get my concealer and put it on the back of my hand, like that. Kind of get a decent amount because you know you're going to be using it on your eyes and all that. And then I'll take like a flat brush like this. This is a Morphe M165, but this isn't the brush I wanted. I can't find the brush I wanted. But you know what? Let me just look real quick. Oh, I found the brush I wanted. Okay, so the brush that I'm going to use is the Morphe M432, and I love this brush. Like, I mean, I love it. So I'm just gonna dab it. I kind of do both sides, just, you know, just to make sure. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut my crease. And again, use a light hand with this as well when you're carving out. Okay, so that got like nice and it's getting nice and tacky. So I'm gonna first start with the, I'm gonna go into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna go into the shade, it's the Armed and Gorgeous palette, and I'm using the shade Access. So this one right here, and I'm just gonna put a base down. You can use a flat shader brush for this. You can use any type of brush you want just to get that color packed on. So I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild brush. I love Wet n Wild brushes. I think they work really well. And I'm just gonna kind of pack the color on. And now I'm gonna go into the James Charles palette using the same shader brush. Go ahead and move on to my other eye, and then I'll come back and I'll finish this look together. So the one thing that I'm running into is with the yellow shadow, as I keep adding on, it kind of like starts to like flake off a little bit. I don't know if that's because of the concealer or maybe the brush I'm using, but just be careful if you're using the James Charles palette, because I don't mean to knock my camera, but once you keep layering and layering, it looks like it starts to flake off a little bit, like you start to see some creasing. But so I just kind of stopped. I wanted to make it a little bit more intense, but I'm just gonna stop there. I'm gonna try to do some liner. I don't like doing liner, so maybe I... Okay guys, so this is the finished look that I have created for you guys. It's not bad for being, for just me winging it, but earlier in the video I had told you guys that I had a secret to my makeup lasting long, and it is my Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray, and I absolutely love this stuff. Like, it literally just it locks my makeup in, it makes everything look good. Another one that I like is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist Spray, and it's cheaper than the Urban Decay one, but if I could combine these two, I would. I do like the formula of the Morphe, but I like the staying power of the Urban Decay. I just wish that the Urban Decay had the continuous mist like the Morphe one does. But if you are in the market for a new setting spray, or you want your makeup to last longer, I think Urban Decay is your best bet. I would just splurge a little bit more on it. But yeah guys, thanks for letting me talk with y'all today. And if you want more videos where I'm talking to y'all, or y'all want me to do where I'm doing showing y'all and then doing a voiceover, let me know in the comments. And also let me know what kind of videos y'all would like to see, any Netflix recommendations or anything like that. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.